All right, Karen?
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us today. We are going to start the second half of the Educator's Choice presentations. When we finish with the 5 that are presenting, you'll be asked to go to a website and vote and provide feedback in the rubrics that we have, and we'll find out a lot more about that in a moment. And let's see. We ask that you mute your phone lines. I think everyone is muted except for some of the presenters. And please, if you are a presenter, a reminder to call into the actual phone line, because the voiceover part of the internet is giving us too many feedbacks, and it has been very distracting. We're joined, I believe, still by folks from at least EdWeb, perhaps NCH, but EdWeb has been a sponsor and a host with our Educator's Choice Award for the last couple of cycles, and if Lisa is still on the line, I would love for her to just give a welcome. Is she on? I don't think I see her. No, so we'll wait. If she does come on, maybe we can, between sessions or something. But both EdWeb, it's a professional learning community, MCH, Strategic Data, which provides a lot of information to our publisher members, have been very supportive of this program. If you're not aware of SIIA, we are a
trade association, meaning our members are companies and not individuals, and we do a lot of work with our members around business development and advocacy work, all kinds of things. So we have a number of programs that we offer, and if anyone is interested, you should definitely get in touch with me or the Derby or anyone else that you may know of. Just so you have an awareness of who we are here, the Education Division team is here. I'm the first person here, but the middle one is the one that you have been working with for the last some months, actually, and getting closer to this presentation. The Derby is managing all of the behind-the-scenes work, making sure that this is going as smoothly as possible, of course, with your support. Lindsay's also on, and she is the developer of the rubrics that you will be using, and in general does a lot of our market and policy research. Mark Schneiderman and Jonathan McGinn are both on our team, and I don't think they're with us, but they provide a lot of support. And if you are interested in our Cody Award nominations, companies nominate products to be judged, and we need educators, administrators to review them. We've got a couple of products in, I think, one category that we still need a couple of judges for. So if you go to siia.net/Cody's, right there in the URL that's mentioned, I think there is probably a chance for you to sign up, because we do need a couple more people. And we also are looking for folks who would like to participate in our School Technology Series and other webinars that we do. So what I'd like to do now is to check with actually Lindsay, if she's on, and have her also give any recommendations for voting. She will be putting a survey link in the chat box, and just my comment is going to be that as a reviewer, please keep in mind that it may not be a solution that you would buy for your classroom or school because it doesn't fit your specific environment, either because of the grade level or because of the fact that it's an administrative support and you're a classroom teacher, vice versa. But please just review it from the perspective of the intended audience. They will be telling you who the audience is, who it's designed for, and the rubric questions ask about that. So you can be grading on that in general. Lindsay, do you have any comments you'd like to make about the rubric?
Yes, I've posted the rubric in the chat box. The URL is right there. If you have any questions about it, feel free to put those in the chat box for me. Please also do not rate anyone until after their presentation. It's just common courtesy, and also feel free to just wait until the end and do them all then. I'm just posting it. Some people like to rate as they go. Some people like to do it at the end. Just make sure that you wait until till the person finishes their presentation before you rate them.
Okay. And Derby, Lisa just called because she actually thought this started at 6. She's going to be calling in a bit, so perhaps we can have her say something after the first presentation.
Okay, great. So we will go ahead and start with the first presentation. The innovation name is Robots for Autism, and making that presentation is Claude. Claude, I'm going to pull up your presentation now, and you may begin whenever you're ready. Just 1 second.
Okay. Well, Hanson Robokind eventually became Robokind Advanced Social Robotics, and we actually developed a product set called Robots for Autism. And obviously, there was a dramatic tidal wave in education as more and more of these children are being coming to the surface. There are over 1 million children with autism. It's a dramatic growth, putting a big load on schools to try to come up with a way to efficiently and effectively deal with them. In 2000, a school district of 10,000 kids may have only had 10 students with autism. Today, we're finding that it is not unlikely for that same school district to have 10 plus kids with autism in each of their buildings. So as the trend continues, eventually 50% of the teachers in America will wind up having a child with autism in their classroom. So needless to say, it is a dramatic event. However, we know it can be treated. And for many of these students, with the appropriate kind of evidence-based procedures and practices that are currently in place, we can get students to function at a level that may be allowing them to be successful. However, it takes a lot of money and it takes a lot of time to ramp up the treatment. That is why we developed Robots for Autism. It's very unique as an effective tool for teachers, for therapists, to support and supplant what they are doing, to supplement what they are doing in a way that brings about change. And in this particular case, we need to engage the child in cases where they have not been engaged and intrinsically motivate them to begin to do the interactions that are required for them to develop their social skills. This is an affordable tool for schools, and it will build schools' capacity to be very consistent in the kinds of treatments that these children may need. Let's see. Okay, there we go. So basically all of that I spoke to, you can see, has actually been on the next chart here. And so the numbers are continuing. But we're at a point now where I'm trying to move ahead here. Is there a
Claude, I'm sorry, I'm going to stop your time right now. I see that for whatever reason you weren't promoted to co-presenter, so you don't have access to the control panel. Not sure what happened.
Sorry.
Looks like you dropped off and then came back on, and that.
I did. When I hit mute, I hit end before.
Oh, okay. So please just say next slide, and I will advance it for you. And then when your video comes on, I will have to control that, so you'll have to tell me when to stop. I'm sorry.
All right, that would be fine. I apologize.
Okay.
Okay. Well, let's do the next slide. And so it is here that we actually developed some very unique technology. And the technology really comes in the form of a human-like robot whom we call Zeno. He is specifically designed to provide educators and the parents for therapy for children in the classroom, in a private practice, and maybe even someday right to the home. Zeno is a human-like robot, as you can see. He will move and have human facial expression, which is very unique. No other robot in America or in the world has this capability. But he's also programmed to sense when the child needs to be re-engaged. We call this compassion. Down the road, we could always speak a bit more to how we do that. But the important thing is to re-engage the learning process. He is innovatively designed to focus on the strengths of the child as we go through the process. Most children are engaged with him very quickly, and they are motivated to come back. They'll come back the next day and say, can I do work with Zeno? Or maybe down the road, can I go see Zeno? They just get attached to him very, very well. What we have done is we've taken research-based curriculum writers that actually have worked with children and brought them into Robokind to help us build a Robots for Autism curriculum based on these practices that work. Next page, please. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's start the video. This is one of our experts. Can you start the video?
Hello, my name is Pamela Rollins, and I'm an associate professor and speech-language pathologist at the University of Texas at Dallas Callier Center for Communication Disorders. I've dedicated nearly 30 years to research, teaching, and clinical practice in service of children with autism. In this curriculum, we have very carefully chosen the words that we're using and how we build upon those words over time. By using a robot with fairly natural-looking facial expressions, it allows the child to interact and learn social skills without the added curriculum. We have very carefully chosen the words that we're using and how we build upon those words over time. By using a robot with fairly natural-looking facial expressions, it allows the child to interact and learn social skills without the added difficulty of it.
Okay, so obviously it's a very dramatic robot as you began to see some of the actual things that he can do. But if you take a look at this from the side of a child, in this case, the picture, if you go to the next slide, is a picture of Ryan, and he's working with his facilitator, which isn't shown. But in this case, Ryan historically has had trouble interacting with adults, and in school, even with his own therapist. But when we brought in Zeno, what we observed very quickly was that he was at ease. I think mostly because these children are very mechanically inclined. They are intrigued by how it works, but they also don't feel threatened for whatever reason, and that really helps us engage him in a way, in this particular case, to learn how to and when to give a greeting. Not only, and I want people to realize this is very unique, not only will he deliver the lesson, but he will also record the lesson for future playback down the road, either with another therapist or with the parent or with a team, so we can see the kind of changes that are occurring from one point to another. So the end result is that the staff really do appreciate the changes that we can provide, as well as the visual record of what has occurred. So where we are now, next slide, is that the prototype is done. We've actually gone into production. We're going to start delivering this in March. The curriculum has been finalized, but now we're at a point of collaboration. For each of the modules, and there are 4 of them, we're going to be developing 25 sites across the schools in America to substantiate what we call the fidelity of the technique with a wide range of populations, because demographically there may be differences by age, by gender, by location. And we just need to revalidate that and begin to tweak the products as therapists give us additional input in terms of the way it can be used. So we need your help to collaborate these efforts and then to bring the benefits in a way that's very affordable to schools. So I think I've used up my time. I thank you for the opportunity. And if you need to get more information, we hope you do, visit us. That's robotsforautism.com, or email me at claude@robokindrobots. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Great job. I do encourage you all to post your questions in the chat box. In the previous session, we had tons of great questions, so please go ahead and post your questions now. All right, Peter asks, how can robots measure focus and other feelings?
Well, that's a very good question. Under an NSF grant we just received, we're in our second, third phase with it, we actually had developed over time through camera technology what we consider to be the emotional states of the human face. And over time we're able to actually ascribe characteristics that over a period of time we can ascribe to the child. And based on that, we do it, one, to maybe say the child being distracted or the child seemed to be a bit stressed by something. And it's all part of an early foundation grant that we had received from the National Science Foundation. I don't know if I answered this question, but that's the basis of it.
All right, thank you. Leslie asks, actually Dawn asks, how does it sense the response of the students?
Well, one thing that isn't shown here, and I have to apologize for that, is that there are some students who are nonverbal, and so we usually use a tablet that the robot will actually uplift video to. We use a social narrative with video modeling, and so the child is looking at the robot, looking at the video. In the case that the child is responding and the child is just getting distracted, the robot will actually bridge that to the facilitator by turning to the facilitator and asking the facilitator the same question, just to try to keep the child engaged. But the tablet is a very important piece of the therapy, as the therapist also has one for themselves.
Great. So Jacob asked, was there anything, what was the thinking behind using a male robot instead of a female?
Well, in fact, we have history of having a male and a female. One is called Zeno, as you see here. There is an Alice one. But what we have found is that the fixation for most children seems to be right on the face, not so much on the gender, so to speak. Now, if the demand shows that we should have a female one, we will introduce one for this particular population. For the universities, we have history with both Alice and Zeno. But for the purpose of production and keeping costs down, we've come out with the Zeno robot for now.
All right, great job. Are there any other questions? Please post them now. Claude, if any additional questions come through in the chat box, please feel free to answer them in the chat box and respond to broadcast to all so everyone can see your response.
Well, thank you. Okay, I will do.
All right, and as I mentioned earlier, if you have any questions after this webinar, please feel free to email me directly, education@sia.net, and I will either try to answer them or forward them to the appropriate presenter. So, great, thanks. Next up, we have Evan Lewis.
Oh,
Evan,
did we get Lisa on? I thought we just wanted to let her say hello, because she did come on. Did you unmute her?
She is unmuted.
Okay.
Lisa?
All right. Thank you, everyone. It's really wonderful to be here, and I want to thank SIIA for hosting this opportunity for EdWeb members to get an opportunity to hear from these founders and innovative program developers, new innovations in the education space. And we work with SIIA to bring the voice of the educator into their competitions, because we found in the past couple of rounds that we've done that often educators would vote for a solution that might be a little bit different than some of the people in the industry would. So we think your input and your questions are really important. And thank you all for always being a member of EdWeb and participating in our programs. And we really thank SIIA for hosting this kind of event, because it's really important to making sure that we develop the right kinds of solutions that are needed by teachers and students. So thank you, Karen. Thank you, LaDerby.
Good. Thanks. And LaDerby, we'll go back to the next presenter.
All right. Thank you,
great.
Lisa.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Evan, please begin whenever you're ready, and I'll start the clock at that time. But I do want to remind, again, folks, to please mute your phone lines. Thank you.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm ready to start. Hi, everyone. My name is Evan Lewis, co-founder of eProf. Really, really excited to be here with you today to chat with you a little bit about our business and what we're working on going forward. So eProf exists to serve the target market of education businesses. We call this the education mid-market. So these are companies like learning centers, tutoring franchises, test prep academies, language academies, and these are companies that make a living from teaching and tutoring, traditionally in a brick and mortar setting. And for these types of companies, the market conditions right now are really, really difficult. If you want a brick and mortar center, you're seeing a ton of competition from, online resources, whether they're free or paid. So you're having to spend more on marketing dollars to get the word out. You're having to hire better quality tutors, which means higher wages. And then on the flip side, your revenues are decreasing. So really, these businesses are being squeezed from both sides. And what these companies do is they look to technology to try to, improve their business, to optimize their business, and, to grow their business inevitably. And this brings up a really difficult problem for these business owners, is managing technology. So, typically, people we talk to are not the most tech savvy, but they have, a lot of different technological needs, whether it's, scheduling, taking payments, using marketing software, if they want to do online classes, using video conferencing. There's a they have a ton to gain from coming online and using technology, but the difficulty is that, we've talked to business owners who use upwards of, 8 to 10 different pieces of software just to, take advantage of technology and try to, run their business more efficiently. And so that's where eProf comes in. In one sentence, eProf makes it easy for you to run your education business online. And there are 6 key pillars of the platform. So we give you a beautiful custom website. We give you the brains behind that website, so user management system for admins, instructors, students, and parents. We let you build curriculum, whether it's classes or full courses. We let you schedule and take payments for those courses. And then, if you want to do an online class, we actually give you amazing online class delivery tools built right into your academy. And then we let you take feedback and analytics on, how your business is running online. And so, for those of you who know a company called Shopify, we like to equate our business to that. eProf is Shopify for education. So what Shopify does for, letting you create a virtual retail store, eProf lets you, bring your business online and start teaching and leveraging the web. So just a few quick snapshots of our platform. This is our homepage. This is where you get started. Start your 30-day free trial. This is a quick snapshot of an admin sort of user dashboard. So it gives a really nice snapshot of, what's going on in your business, what classes are coming up, how your revenues are doing. You can send messages to your instructors and students. Really just gives a nice sort of, user management interface. And then on the front end of that, the dashboard is the back end, and the front end we give you a beautiful website that essentially, acts as a great portal for you to, drive students to your online classes, promote your brand, and so this is an example of, if you have let's say you had 10 tutors, but if you're just an individual educator who wants to, start using eProf to grow your business, we give you, a template for that as well. So we give you a bunch of different front-end themes for you to customize. Just if you would choose, a Tumblr blog theme, you can choose an eProf theme depending on what kind of business you have. And then, the endpoint really is all around these live interactive online classes. So the beauty of eProf is that, we give you a bunch of different online class delivery tools from, interactive whiteboards to virtual classrooms to screen sharing tools. We make it easy for you to deliver effective online classes and run a business around that. So in terms of our business model, eProf makes money in 2 ways, so from subscriptions and transactions. For subscriptions, it's nice and simple. The prices scale up based on how many instructors you have on your academy, and then obviously we have enterprise plans for bigger companies. And then in terms of transactions, we take a small transaction on any student payments run through the system, and on content sales as well. So if you want to sell ebooks or course materials and that sort of thing, we help you sell that as well through your academy. And so finally, to think about it in terms of how eProf is different, the beauty of eProf is that we give you the house, we give you the tools and the infrastructure, but then we go out and we find the best education technology tools, whether it's video conferencing or for accounting or discussion boards and analytics. We go out and find the best technology tools for our customers, and then we do the hard technology work to build it into the platform. And so that, when you come on and you create an academy, we let you pick and choose the tools that work best for you, to bring your business online and improve your business through the web. So that's about it. But really looking forward to chatting with everyone and answering questions. And if you want to get in touch, my email is just evan@eprof.com, and you can follow us on Twitter. And thanks very much for everyone's time.
Great job, Evan. Thank you so much. Please pose your questions in the chat box now. Don't see any yet, but please feel free to post them now. No questions? Allie, I think your hand is raised. If you have a question, please post it in the chat box. Again, if you have any questions, please post it in the chat box on the left-hand side of your screen.
I know. I'd really rather have those red potatoes, and I'll come in and cook them in just a minute. Are you ready? I really would like to boil them with the skin on, and then we'll make mashed.
Sorry about that. Okay, so I don't think we have any questions. If you do think of any questions, again, please post them in the chat box, and Evan will respond via the chat box or send me an email at education@sia.net, or, of course, you can email Evan directly at evan@eprof.com. So, again, thank you so much.
Okay, thanks.
All right, next up we have InstaEDU. Allison will be making the presentation for them. Allison, please begin when you're ready, and I will begin the stopwatch at that time.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Allison Johnston-Rue. I'm the CEO and co-founder of InstaEDU. And we are at a very exciting point in time for technology right now. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. For the first time, students everywhere can access high-quality academic classes and content, regardless of location, income, or time of day. But content is only one side of the education experience. The other is people. You read a book, then discuss it in class. You watch a lecture, then raise your hand to ask a question. Teachers are there to interact with students and promote understanding. Outside of the classroom, this manifests itself in study groups, office hours, and private tutors. A few years ago, while I was working at Google, my brother Dan and I started an in-home tutoring company. We matched tutors from Stanford, Harvard, MIT, and Columbia with students in their areas, and we were extremely effective in helping our students succeed. But we realized two very important things. One, most students can't afford in-home tutoring. And two, many students don't need a tutor at the same time every week. But every student runs into things they don't understand. And those things can be incredibly blocking if you don't get help. Our tutoring company would get frantic messages from students late at night saying, hey, is there anyone who can get online and just help me with these two physics problems right now? We saw an enormous student need that was going unaddressed. So we started working on InstaEDU. InstaEDU is a next-generation online tutoring platform. We make it simple for any student studying any subject to instantly connect with a great tutor at any time. So how does this work in practice? It starts with our tutor base. We work with thousands of experienced tutors from top education backgrounds. These are not people in call centers on the other side of the world. They're teaching assistants at Stanford and medical students at Harvard. Quality is extremely important to us, and our tutors average above a 96% positive review rate. And we make it super easy to connect with these tutors instantly, 24/7. When a student requests an immediate lesson, our system automatically starts notifying suitable tutors who are already online. As a result, we're able to match students with an awesome tutor in about 30 seconds. Think back to being a student for a second. To go from being completely stuck to having someone who can help in less than a minute is pretty powerful. Once a lesson gets started, students and tutors have access to all the tools needed to make lessons as effective as in person. This means integrated video chat, a shared whiteboard, homework uploading, and document editing. Every tutor also has a public profile, so students can pick out their own tutor and even schedule regular lessons. You can also read the reviews left by other students. More important than any features, InstaEDU is making a notable impact. We're helping students understand new concepts, helping them pass their classes, and helping them gain academic confidence. The numbers show this too. Over 90% of students report better grades, greater confidence, and lower stress after using InstaEDU. This has led to very strong growth. For the past 12 months, we've grown usage an average of 50% each month. To keep up with the demand, we now have over 3,000 active tutors. Our students come from all levels and backgrounds. We help 8th graders improve their writing. We help college students prepare for accounting midterms. And we help support adults who are teaching themselves to code. This is real live one-on-one student support that scales. Beyond students, investors and journalists are also taking note. We've raised over $5 million from top-tier investors and have been covered by major media outlets, including the Today Show and the Wall Street Journal. To date, we've primarily worked directly with students and their families, but in January, we're actually kicking off our first school pilot. So if you work with students who could benefit from additional one-on-one support, either in the classroom or at home, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. My email address is here, and I'd love to hear from you.
Great job, Allison. Please post your questions in the chat box now. We do have a question from Jennifer. She asks, what grade level is InstaEDU for?
We're all levels age 13 and up. So everything from basic math to electrical engineering.
Okay, great. How much do you charge?
So our student rates range from $24 an hour to $45 an hour, depending on how much tutoring you use.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Helen asks, are the tutors adults or located in the U.S.?
So the majority of our tutors are current college students. So we've stuck to a similar model. We recruit basically tutors who already have teaching experience out of top-tier universities. All are over 18, and the vast majority are in the U.S., but we also recruit out of top universities in other English-speaking countries.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. There's a question here. How are the fees split with the tutor?
Tutors all make $20 an hour flat rate.
Okay. Peter asks, is tutoring available 24/7?
Yes. So all of our, basically, like I hinted to, we can see when our tutors are online and potentially available, and especially because we work with college students and some college students from around the globe, this tutor base is, online 24/7. We have over 3,000 tutors, so you can basically get help in any subject at any time.
Great. Last question here from Belinda. Do you offer tutoring in languages?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Well, actually, one last question, and please keep it short. Is the tutoring only through chat?
No. So we have a rich lesson space built out. Students can opt to use chat if they want, but like I showed, we have video chat that's built directly in. We think the face-to-face communication is super important. Also audio, obviously, and then a bunch of collaboration tools as well to make it super efficient.
Okay, great. If you do have another question here, actually two questions in the chat box, please respond to broadcast to all, and please respond to those questions in the chat box, Allison.
Okay, I will do that.
All right, great. Thank you so much. So next we have Mike Lawrence with Leading Edge Certification. I am pulling up your slides now.
Hi, Derby.
Hi, Mike. I don't see you as a presenter. Were you not able?
I don't see myself as a presenter either.
Okay. I'm not sure what happened. You were a presenter at one point, but I would just need you to tell me when to advance the slide, and I'll do that so we don't hold anything up.
Okay. We also have Jason Borgen and Elizabeth Calhoun. Is there a chance that one of them could be promoted, or is a speaker already?
No. Let's see if I can do that now. 1 second.
It's prompting me to install something.
Yes, just do that. It should be quick. In the meantime, I just want to note that these presentations are being recorded. I am going to upload the recordings and make the link available this evening, and I will also email the link to the surveys as well. So please look out for an email from me, LaDerby Portero at SIIA, with the links to the recordings. And again, I thank you so much to everyone for participating today. Mike, so you should have access to the control now. Please begin when you're ready.
Excellent. Thank you. As Elizabeth said, my name is Mike Lawrence. I'm Executive Director of CUE, and I'm also a founder of Leading Edge Certification, a national certification program in educational technology and curriculum innovation. Education is changing rapidly. New tools, approaches, and pedagogy are emerging that leverage innovative technology in amazing and unexpected ways. New models of professional development are therefore needed, and new ways of distinguishing forward-thinking educators need to be established for those that will lead us into the next generation of teaching and learning. The program that we're hoping that could solve this would need to be affordable, competency-based, and continuously updated by a talented team of educators. It would need to be flexible. It would need to be delivered online in a blended course or even face-to-face. And it would need to be delivered across the U.S. consistently. It would also need to be lightweight, something educators could tackle in the summer, let's say, or at night during the school year. And it would need to be aligned to well-established research-based standards and frameworks. Many PD models already exist, and in fact, many of these recognitions take the form of amazing communities of innovative educators. But at the end of the day, they all exist to promote specific products or services. Leading Edge Certification is vendor neutral. So in 2010, we gathered an alliance of nonprofits, universities, and educational agencies to form Leading Edge. All these members of the team have compelling day jobs in the field of education, technology, and leadership, which is why we're especially excited about the LEC certification programs, as they are developed and delivered by educators for educators. We like to think of LEC as where the rubber meets the road. The certification timeline demonstrates the evolution of each program and our consistency in delivering it. We're pleased that through these many LEC providers, we've already certified nearly 1,200 educators in the 2 years since we launched, and we'll soon be issuing Credly digital badges to each of them. I wanted to invite two of my colleagues up to help walk us through the curriculum. Elizabeth Calhoun, can you lead us through the online and blended teacher certification?
Absolutely. Thanks, Mike. The online and blended teacher curriculum provides teachers with both the philosophy and practical experience of developing curriculum and lessons that address online and blended learning environments. Teachers learn about ADA requirements in online and blended spaces and work to create accessible materials. In addition, they create full syllabi, assessments for students, and become well-versed in both the research and current trends in online and blended teaching best strategies. One activity from this course requires that teachers evaluate their own growth in becoming an online teacher and then use one of a variety of Web 2.0 tools to show their learning. I'm going to hand this over to Jason now, who is on the work group 4 and co-chair of the administrator certification.
Thanks, Elizabeth. School leaders need to prepare students for college and for the 21st century and be model educators for all teachers and staff. This includes creating a vision for digital age learning, supporting programs such as mobile devices in classrooms, purchasing and engaging stakeholders in authentic learning environments, as well as modeling communication, data collection, and streamlining workflows through the use of technology. With the ever-changing landscape of technology, these educational leaders need to be on the leading edge to be able to assist in student success. Take a look at this activity in which participants create a digital timeline of what they envision will be implemented in their schools or districts by the year 2020. As you see, this educational leader, who is an assistant superintendent, believes e-textbooks will be implemented by August of 2015. I'm going to hand it back to Elizabeth, who is co-chair of the Digital Educator certification, to talk about the Digital Educator curriculum.
Thanks. The Digital Educator curriculum offers classroom teachers an opportunity to fully immerse themselves in the global classroom in which we live through innovative activities using platform-agnostic and free applications. So the certification is applicable to all teachers regardless of their access to technology. A centerpiece of this certification includes the creation of lesson plans linked to various concepts. Teachers then implement the lessons and show student work as artifacts of their learning. One of the activities that teachers work through is creating a presentation for students, staff, parents, or community about responsible online use and establishing a positive digital footprint. They can then include this in their lessons, and they can create a fluid set of lessons that are exemplars for their own practice and to model for other teachers. The final culmination of each certification is demonstrating mastery through a digital portfolio. In most cases, for all of these certifications, providers partner with universities to offer continuing education credits to further benefit the certified teachers.
Thank you, Jason, and thank you, Elizabeth. Three of the Alliance members. Therefore, it's a collaborative effort. But our Alliance works together to develop the curriculum and distribute the LEC training and ranges from national and regional groups to educational institutions in both K-12. I was muted. Sorry, I just realized I was on mute for the last 15 seconds there. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Elizabeth. As this is an alliance and therefore a collaborative effort, you've heard a few members of the team on the call this day, but it's a much larger alliance than what you've heard. This alliance develops the curriculum and they actually distribute the LEC training, and it ranges from national and regional groups to educational institutions in both K-12 and higher education. We'd love to take any questions you may have now or later via email.
Okay, great. Mike, yes, you were muted for a little bit there.
I was fantastic on mute, though.
I'm sure you were. I have no doubt about it. Lisa asked, what is the cost for the program?
It's a great question. It varies by the certification, but for the classroom teacher-based ones, the ones that are online and blended, as well as the digital educator, it's $450 for the certification. Yes. And for the administrators, it's a smaller audience. It's a bit more involved in some cases. It ends up being $749 for the certification. There are some regional entities that offer scholarships that actually even lower that further.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Mike, is that someone in your background?
To let you know, traffic is heavy down here.
No, I hear it too, but they're not here.
I'm sorry, can you please put your phone on mute?
Okay.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Okay.
It's a great question.
All right.
So the Alliance works together to make sure that those prices are consistent across the board, regardless of which provider you go to, however.
Jennifer asks, when can someone work on the Professional Learning Leader one?
Oh, the Professional Learning Leader, we just launched that. We actually just selected the chair among the Alliance, and it should launch in June of 2014. So short of a few folks that are going to go through the pilot process in April, May, the first chance to go and take that certification will be in probably June and July of 2014. We try to time it to launch at ISTE every year.
Okay, great. Carrie asks, grad credit too?
Absolutely. You may have heard Elizabeth mention it, that we have continuing education units, and in some cases some of the providers partner for master's rigor credit. I know my institution, Q, we partner with Fresno Pacific, for instance, and they offer graduate rigor units for those that are taking our courses.
All right. Last question. Sue asks, in what way is this certification recognized in different states?
Another great question, and it varies by state, of course. There are some states that have stepped on board and recognized it. There's others that it's district by district. We look at it as more similar to one of those slides that I put in the beginning, the Apple Distinguished Educator Program or Google Certified Teacher. It's a recognition that we believe has value in and of itself, and would be in addition to a resume in a job interview situation. Could even be something that districts look for when they're hiring, or county offices look for when they're hiring. We don't have anything formally adopted by a state at this moment in time. Probably the biggest group that we've seen really step in would be Ohio. ETech Ohio is very interested in offering this as a statewide certification, and Miami-Dade School District in Florida is looking specifically at the digital educator certification as something they'd like all their teachers to have.
Right. Great job. If you have any additional questions, please continue to post them in the chat box, and Mike will continue to answer them in the chat box.
Thank you for the opportunity. We really appreciate it.
Yes, definitely. Or you can definitely feel free to reach out to Mike or any of his colleagues at their email addresses listed on the current slide. All right, thank you. Next up, we have Lights Out, and Melissa will be presenting for them. Melissa, please begin when you're ready. Melissa?
You there?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right, perfect. All right, good. Thanks. Let's go ahead and start.
All right, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Melissa Leffler. I'm Lightsail's Director of Professional Learning. As a teacher, I taught high-risk, low-income students where the majority of my students came into my classroom below grade level as really, really struggling readers. And I knew that they needed really solid literacy instruction to be able to succeed in life. But as a teacher, I struggled to really give them what they needed. I was overwhelmed by the amount of grading I needed to do. I simply didn't have enough time to plan or really even give the individualized lesson and attention that my students really needed. And maybe worst of all, my library didn't match my readers. My library was built for the ideal fifth grade class. My students were far below what they were expected to be when they came to me. So I set out to build something that would really give teachers the tools that they needed. So I co-founded an ed tech company called Lightsail that would solve the issues that I was having as a teacher. At Lightsail, we begin with an e-reader with embedded assessments. This way we can really illuminate what kids are thinking as they're reading. But in developing Lightsail, we knew that it had to be easy for teachers and students to use. We wanted to give teachers better data, not more data. We don't want to drown our teachers in data that they then can't use. We know that to really create really strong readers, we need to start by putting the best books in students' hands. So as teachers, we know that in order to build comprehension, you need to build reading stamina. To build reading stamina, you have to be reading really innovative, solid, engaging books. So we have partnered with virtually all of the top publishers and scores of really wonderful smaller publishers to make sure that our students have the best books in their hands at all times. Even better, our library adapts so that as students become better readers, they're seeing books that are more appropriate for them so that they're always appropriately challenged. They're never reading something that's too easy or too hard. As a teacher, I gave exit slips, I gave quizzes, I gave tests, but it wasn't really enough for me to plan daily targeted instruction. It just added to my workload of all the things that as a teacher I was juggling. So the Lightsail solves this. As students read, they take 3 different types of assessments to make sure that teachers always know what they're reading and thinking. We've partnered with Metametrics, which allows us to constantly update a student's lexile measure. So teachers today give students generally benchmark assessments to figure out what reading level students are at, and they do this generally 3 times a year. When I was teaching, it basically took 2 weeks, 3 times a year, where my assistant teacher took over the class so I could give my students these assessments. It took hours, and if not weeks. The Lightsail gives all of that time back to the teacher so that you can automatically know where students are at every minute of every reading period. That lets teachers spend their time teaching and not collecting data. They can immediately use that data. In most classrooms right now, when students are reading, they write their thoughts on a sticky note, paste it in the book, or they write in a reading journal and then pass those into the teacher. And as a teacher with over 60 students, it was always really challenging to make sure I saw those reading journals and could give my students really effective, timely feedback. Lightsail, though, makes it so much easier. Teachers can see students' thoughts because students can record their thoughts directly inside the text. Teachers get those thoughts immediately and can become, so that those thoughts can then become a conversation. No longer are the thoughts just stuck in reading journals or stuck on sticky notes. It's all about interaction and really pushing students' thinking. But we knew that just giving teachers the tools to interact was not enough. They really needed some data that was really usable. So we've created heat maps to give teachers and administrators solid at-a-glance data that is separated by Common Core standard and across a variety of metrics. So teachers can use this to plan lessons, while administrators can use it for identifying and leveraging the best classrooms best practices across schools and classrooms. We are leveraging the 21st century skills that students already have. So it's within seconds of students getting Lightsail, they can log in, open up a book, and start reading. And it's really that intuitive, really that easy. We're working with thousands of students right now, and we're finding that regardless of the environment, regardless of the teacher's level of experience, it's driving literacy scores higher and higher. So if you're interested, go ahead and take a look at our website or shoot us an email. We would love to hear from you.
Great job, Melissa. Again, I encourage everyone to post their questions in the chat box now. Give everyone a few seconds to do so. Come on, I know you have questions. Please post them in the chat box.
Does every student need an e-reader? Every student needs access to an iPad, but it doesn't need to be a one-to-one program. So right now we're on iPads. Come the fall, we'll be on a variety of different platforms. So you can have students on computers, you can have students on Android tablets, but right now students just need to have access to one. So a school can have, for example, 20 iPads that go from class to class, and you can have 80 or 100 students using those iPads throughout the day. Let's see. Sorry, there's a flood of questions. And then how are we different?
Sorry, go ahead.
So how are we different from Accelerated Reader? A couple of ways. One, no one else provides the titles that we provide. No one else is working with the top publishers. So we have 18,000 of the best books, not just those books that you can find that are authors who have been dead for over 100 years. These are all the books that teachers really, really want to read. We're also giving teachers that automatic lexiling, which only we have. So all those other programs don't give teachers a way to measure their students' progress moment by moment. How many schools are using this right now? Right now we are working with several thousand students at about 30 schools. Come the next semester, we expect to be working with 30,000 students, and in the fall we'll be working with approximately 100,000 students. Is this project designed for a school or district, or can individual teachers purchase it? We've got both going right now. So a lot of schools try it out in one classroom. We also are working with sort of umbrella organizations that work with public schools. So it's a full mix. We have interest from district levels. We also are partnering with individual teachers. So it's really the entire gamut of people who are seeking literacy development. So the teacher on other devices, so we got a grant from the Gates Foundation to be HTML5. So come the fall, basically in September, we will be device agnostic. So no matter what device your students are using, they can use it. In terms of the cost of a platform, we are a license model. We are a subscription license model. So schools pay per student per month. Generally, it's about $6 per student per month. But if you are interested, we are giving also, though, a side note, a discount. If you call us and mention that you focus on educators' choice, we'll give you a discount. And then schools develop and purchase a school library. In most of those books, they get in perpetuity. So the first year you purchase the books, but then you get those over the long term. And that means that it ends up being significantly cheaper in the long haul for schools because you're not replacing the books. Books aren't going to get lost in students' book bags. They're not going to get eaten by the dogs. You get them forever.
Great job. Thank you. You can please feel free to continue posting your questions in the chat box, and Melissa will answer them there. Or you can reach out to her at her email address posted there on the current slide. All right. Thank you. And again, thank you so much, everyone, for participating today. We do have one final, last but not least, presentation. But again, I want to mention to everyone that these webinars are being recorded and will be shared with everyone. There are tons of folks that will be listening in after the webinar that registered. Over almost 400 people registered for the webinar and will be listening to the recording. So, all right. Marjan, if you're still on, you should be. I see you here. You may feel free to begin when you're ready, and I'll start the stopwatch at that time.
Great, thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Marjan Dara, and I'm the founder of Biblionasium, where kids flex their reading muscles. Why do kids need Biblionasium? Well, because reading is like a sport. You have to set goals, you have to practice, have discipline, and then you see results and get rewarded. Let me tell you the story of Biblionasium. So here are Sam and Sarah. I have two kids who are very similar to these kids. Sam likes to read, so he needs a steady supply of new suggestions and titles. Sarah is not so much into reading, but you can find her and kids like her online on social networks, playing games. And then you have the parent who's trying to find the right books for the kids and is overloaded with information. And of course, we spoke to teachers about reading who have their own challenges. There are existing tools like reading logs and records and lists and points. They're all over the place. They're time-consuming and inefficient to manage. So kids, parents, educators all need better tools to support reading. Why is reading so important? Well, I don't need to tell educators this, but reading is the critical gateway skill. And we know that kids who don't read at level by 4th grade have a 78% chance of not catching up. We all know it's best to address reading early on. So what can be done? Well, research has shown over and over that independent reading is the best predictor of reading achievement, reading comprehension, and verbal fluency. All students get classroom reading instruction and read in school, but the difference in reading achievement is the amount of time the student spends on independent reading. That's reading that's outside of the classroom, at home, on the weekend, on the break, especially over the summer. Unfortunately, kids are not motivated, and independent reading has not been sufficiently supported. So what did we do? Well, we started by building a social network platform to support independent reading and fill that gap. We built it by looking at it first from a kid's perspective. We put the kids at the center of our design and product and build it to be easy, intuitive, and fun to engage. As a result, we have grown totally organically, and in a little over a year, we have over 73,000 registered kids, just through the word of mouth of educators and parents that use our platform and share the great success with their kids. How did we do it? Well, we started by giving them virtual bookshelves to track and record what they're reading, want to read, mark their books, do reviews. We also connect them to the 3 constituents that most influence what they read: their friends, teachers, and parents. They get updates, book reviews, recommendations from the community that motivates them and generates conversation and book talk. They set goals and read towards challenges, track their reading, win awards and badges. It's personalized by them and for them, and they have access from school and home. Well, we collect this invaluable data about their reading habits and preferences, how much they're reading, what they like to read, and then educators can recommend personalized lists based on reading level and interest of each child. Through our integration with Lexile, we include the reading level information to make the book selection easier. And we will report back on what level books the kids are reading and monitor their progress over time. This information is available and shared with the parents. By the way, we're not just about ebooks. We give kids the tool to track and record and reward them for all types of reading. That's print books, magazines, comics, and newsletters. And we get the parents involved. Most important, we connect the parent to the teacher and librarian and close the gap on that circle. Well, with $0 marketing, we've had explosive organic growth. We now have over 73,000 students registered from over 3,000 schools and classrooms from all over the world using Biblionasium. Since I submitted this presentation last week, we've added another 1,000+ registered students. And kids like Sam and Sarah have been adding about 1,000 every week. We are grateful to our educator community who have embraced our platform and spread the word voluntarily to their colleagues. And we have the industry behind us. We were selected for the best websites for teaching and learning from the American Association of School Librarians. These are the educators on the ground using the products with their kids. And we won a prize for innovation in global education as we support classrooms from all over the world managing independent reading. We invite you to join Biblionasium and help your students flex their reading muscles. Thank you for your time. I know this is the last one, and for your dedication to your students.
Great job. So as I've been saying, please post your questions in the chat box. Give folks a couple seconds to do that. In the meantime, again, I want to say that everyone did a great job. These webinars will be recorded and shared with everyone in case you want to go back and listen to them. I will also share the survey links as well, so watch out for an email from me. All right, Allison asks, how do you protect the kids' privacy?
Thank you for that question. We are COPPA compliant, meaning the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, and we follow their rules and regulations. We have a COPPA consultant, and we have earned our certification. We are constantly audited, and every feature that we add to the product is run by our COPPA consultant.
All right, any other questions?
I guess it's end of the day.
What is the cost to use?
The platform as is free to use. It's not subscription based. The platform for the educators on the classroom level is free to use.
Okay. Any other questions? Jennifer asks, is there a district option?
I'm not sure what you mean by a district option. One of the things that we have been adding, and really the product has been being driven by our educators on the ground. So we've added a lot of features that allow multiple educators to manage a group of students at a library level, at a grade level, at a school level. As far as rolling it out at a district level, we are in the process of integration with platforms like Edmodo and Schoology that would give us access into the districts and single sign-on for the school. But that's in progress.
Okay. Great. Give folks a couple more seconds to post their questions. If not, we'll wrap it up. Again, I want to say thank you to, actually, Jennifer asks, and also tracking as they go from grade to grade.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one of the great things about this is if you have a parent on the account, you can actually take your record of your bookshelf with you from school to school. So it's not tied into any classroom or into any school. That's where the parents come in. And one of the things that literary organizations like about our platform is that we give millions of kids the opportunity to track their literary journey. So it's their record, it's what they're reading, it's what they like to read, it's their favorite books, and they can take it with them from whatever class to class or school to school, and it moves with them.
Great. All right.
I'm sorry, I only had 9 slides, so I didn't put up my my email, but you can contact me at marjan@biblionasium.com.
Marjan, please, you can post it in the chat box so folks are able to write it down. And again, anyone can contact me at education@sia.net, and I'll be happy to forward along any questions that you may have to the presenters. And again, these webinars are being recorded and will be shared. Thanks to Lisa at EdWeb, we had over 400 registrants. Some folks registered just to get the recording if they were unable to actually attend the live presentation. So they registered to get the recording, so they will be listening in after today. And they will still have also a chance to vote on your innovation. So great turnout registration-wise to this. So again, I want to thank all the presenters. You all did a very great job, an excellent job. And thank you to the attendees for listening in. And if you have any questions, again, that can be reached at education@siia.net. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please stand by.